Okay, welcome to the Basics Training Edition Chapter 1 video. This is either the very first video you're watching, or it could actually be the fifth video that you're watching. The reason I did it that way is there's 4 overview videos that basically go through and show that every chapter is basically set up the exact same way. They have the exact same components. Any of the games, the rules stay the same chapter after chapter. So I made an overview to show that there will be a lot of consistency, and that once you understand and the students understand the basic formats of the game, they'll be the same every chapter. The only thing different is it'll be a new family of facts that they'll be learning. If you've already watched the 4 overview videos, then you're aware of all the components. If you're the kind of person that is just diving in here at Chapter 1, then I will go through and explain each activity as we go through. These are actually not located in your packet of materials. These are actually what were given out last year at the workshops. Anyone that came to the workshops, and actually I think they were emailed out to everybody anyway, received a set of these template cards, and basically they are movable. They were given to you so that you could cut them out, put them on sentence strip, and end up with 20 movable cards. And the idea would be, I like to use this to introduce the number cards to the students. I lay out all the cards, like the pictures and the numbers, and I have the students help me understand that they're related to each other, that this one has 1 black dot, this one has 2, 3, all the way down to 10. But the guiding principle of the program is this. We want to try to have students be able to count and be able to add without using their fingers. And I'll give you one very quick example of the concept is this. There's 2 ways to be able to identify this number. One strategy is to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and that is fine at first. But you and I both know that if there are 10 circles and all of them are black except for one, you don't really need to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You can just say, well, all of them would be 10. One is missing, so it's 9. So these templates are going to be shown to the students in a very specific order so that we can teach them to understand numbers logically as opposed to by counting on their fingers. Okay, so this is straight from your book. The packet that you get will go into your 3-ring binder. It's hole punch, so you can take it out and you can make copies of it. Again, it says the idea is to never begin adding on their fingers. And basically, let me go back real quick. What I like to do is emphasize to the kids that every single one of them have 10 circles on it. And the number 10 has 10 circles and they're all black. Now, the way that we introduce the numbers are like this. Okay, and I even wrote this in the directions. It says, teacher says how many, student needs to respond 1. Then the important part is the teacher says, how did you know? And what we want to do is get them beyond the fact of I counted 1. We want them to have a way by logic. And this one is, we want the students to learn to say, because there's only 1. And when they learn that this one is 2, they'll say, because there are exactly 2. Let me go through the numbers. They go 1, then 2. If you're holding up the cards, you show them card number 1, explain it. Card number 2, explain it. The next one is not card number 3. The next one is card number 5. And what we want to say to them is, how many do I have? Some kid in the class, I'm sure, will look up and count with their eyes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is wonderful. Except we want to say to them, can anybody tell me a way to know that it's 5 without counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? And what we want them to see is that it's the entire top row is black. That's why we're going to ask them to say 5, and then we'll say, how did you know? Every time, say, how did you know? And they'll say, because it's the whole top row. And the exciting thing will be the first time a kid looks at this, and you can tell that there's no doubt that they did not go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. that they just looked at it and they knew by logic that this card was 5. Once they know this is 5, we go to the next card that you show them, which is number 4. And we say, all right, let's look at this one. Of course, some kids going to want to count 1, 2, 3, 4. But we're going to guide them to see that what it is it's 4 because it's the whole top row but missing 1. And we want them to see that by logic, you don't need to count 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the one strange one to me is number 3. 1 and 2 are easy to spot. 4 and 5 are easy to spot. 3 is the one tricky one. The way that I have students respond to it is they say 3. I say, how did you know? And I have them say, because it's not 1, 2, 4, or 5. 1, 2, 4, and 5 basically jump out and bite your nose. 3 is the one that you kind of have to look at. So 3 is special, and later you're going to find out 8 is special as well. The next one we do, and what I like to do with them is at that point I like to hold them up one at a time, have the kids repeatedly tell me what the number is, and then tell me how they knew. And I want to try to get them away from counting as quickly as possible. I try to have them, they just hear over and over, it's the whole top row, it's 5. It's the whole top row, but it's missing 1, that's a 4. It only has 1, it has exactly 2, so that they see that. After they can do those first 5 pretty well, then we jump to number 6. 6 is, what we get them to say is 6. It's the whole top row plus 1. Then we go to 7. It's the whole top row plus 2. Again, 8 is kind of funny, so we don't do 8 yet. We jump to 10. 10 is, they're all black. It's the whole thing, and that's what we want kids to say every time. I know it's 10 because it's the whole thing. We don't want them to have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that's fine if they keep doing it. It's just that we want to keep asking them again and again, how did you know? And get them to tell us how they knew. That's 10. Once you know 10, obviously 9 is jumps out and bites you. It's the whole thing, but it's missing 1. So what the kid's going to say is 9. We say, how do you know? They say, because it's the whole thing, but 1, or but missing 1. And finally, we get to the other funky one, which is 8. And the way that I have them learn 8 is, and if you come up with a better way, that's awesome with me, just keep it consistent, is it's not 6, which is easy, it's not 7, which is easy, it's not 10, which is easy, and it's not 9, which is easy. So this one just jumps out to me because it's not one of the easy ones, it's 8. The 2 tricky ones, in my opinion, are 3 and 8, and we identify that. Okay, now, what I did after you received your materials is I went and created one extra document. It has 2 sides. It's going to be emailed to you. It'll come as 2 separate documents, and if you want, you can photocopy them back to back. I made a parent sheet, and this parent sheet basically explains everything that I just said to you. It says we're not going to be counting on our fingers. We're going to use logic. There's 2 ways to know how number 9 is, and I explain that to the parent. Every time we want to ask them, how did they know? And then I gave all the pictures and showed how they, what the student is going to be needing to answer. Here's the front, and here's the back. It goes all the way up to 10. If you choose to, you could photocopy that and send it home to the parents at some point. You might want to wait until the students are pretty good at it. I'm going to give you one other suggestion. Again, this is another one that is completely optional, but I'm going to go back to here. I have had teachers in the past decide they kind of gave the parents a little assignment, and what they did was they sent home these sheets that I just went through with you. And what they say to the parents is, please do me a favor. Cut out these. You're going to put, and some teachers do it in class, but most teachers send it home if they want to do this. They send home this paper. It says cut out the picture, glue it on the front of an index card, cut out the words, glue it on the back of the index card. And that way the parent could practice at home. They would hold it up and they would know what exactly to say to the student. Again, this is 100% completely optional. No one needs to do it this way. If you want to, fine. If not, the students will be doing this many times in class. And the goal is to get it to the point where, let me go back to the beginning one last time and show you this. In class, we want to get the kids to the point where we can hold up any one of these cards and they can tell us the number. And if you want it, you could make a few sets of them in the class. You could have students test each other. But the basic idea is if we are able to get students to learn these numbers by not using their fingers, their ability to add is going to be unbelievably awesome. They're going to be able to do amazing things from here on in if they can do that. Once they start on their fingers, they're kind of doomed to always, it's kind of like a trick that they never let go. So we want to get them right away into using logic to see these. And this is going to be the end of Chapter 1 video. The other videos for Chapter 1, I will go through each game and teach you specifically how to play it. And let's sign off. Thank you.